There's a subtle and powerful wall that unhealthy people live with. The wall I'm talking about is not a physical wall, but rather it's a barrier in people's thinking, unhealthy people's thinking, that prevents them from progressing. The wall is denial. And denial takes on many different forms and takes on many different names, but it's all denial. But as many times as we've talked about denial, the subtle nature of denial, in most cases, I think prevents people from understanding it very intuitively. In fact, I'm just thinking about how many times that I've been talking about a thing. For example, cognitive dissonance. Do you understand that cognitive dissonance is just denial? I don't think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people, when they're studying logical fallacies, think that these different names for different aspects of denial mean that they're a separate thing, but it's really not. Cognitive dissonance is just denial. It's just a form of denial. So that's what I mean. There's many different forms of denial, many different ways that it manifests in unhealthy people. Bias. What is bias? Bias is denial. Because what is denial? Denial is anytime we determine realities using our feelings. That's denial. So, many different forms of denial. And, denial is just one of those things. When I look out at the world, look at Twitter, look at social media, we'll be talking about this today. I mean, I just see it happening left and right of me all day long, everywhere. But now I want you to think of denial, any form of it, as a wall. It's a wall that unhealthy people live with. And remember what I said it is? It's a barrier in thinking that prevents an unhealthy person from progressing. When we begin down a journey of what hopefully is a journey of authentic recovery, we do so already living with an established understanding of the nature of everything in our life. Let's talk about this established understanding of everything in our life as quote unquote the narrative. So the narrative, remember what the narrative is? It's an established understanding of the nature of everything in our life. When we're unhealthy, we're all living with an established narrative, not only about life, but the nature of our relationships, the nature of the players in our life, or the actors in our life, and our place in all that. Why is the term the narrative so appropriate here? Well, let's ask this. Does the term narrative more likely describe truth, or does it more likely describe a story arrived at emotionally? When we talk about a thing being part of the narrative, are we more likely describing truth, or are we more likely describing a story arrived at emotionally? You see, the narrative, a narrative, can be anything. It's one person's preferred storytelling around any given thing. Right now, surrounding the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, there are multiple narratives. Now, my point here bringing that up is not to side with any one narrative or to throw my support behind any particular narrative. My point simply is that as I have made my observations, I have observed that there are many narratives. And I'll tell you quite honestly that I don't know which one to believe. No matter what the news tells me, they're not just out to tell me the truth. They have other things motivating them more than the truth. Governments have proven themselves totally corrupt and dishonest. Right? It kind of just goes hand in hand with government. So you see the catch-22. Who do you believe? Well, if everybody and everything's corrupt, who do you believe? It's not that I just don't believe anything the government says or any government says. It's that I can't, because to do so would be contrary to common sense. I don't even listen to anything they say anymore. I can't, because it just confuses me more. If you don't know who to trust, but what you do know for sure is that you can't trust them, then I can't listen to them. Twitter has recently come out with these files that showed the outright blatant corruption of that whole organization. And what do the reporters all had to say about it? Well, the reporters who were saying it was that none of those things were true are now saying that it's old news. So there's no reason to report on it now because it's just old news and it don't matter. And it's just stuff that everybody knew anyway. These are the same news organizations who just months ago were denying these things outright. So everybody's corrupt. Everybody's corrupt. All the institutions are corrupt. Even doctors are corrupt. Scientists are all corrupt. And anybody who doesn't see it only doesn't see it because they don't want to see it. Which again is what? It's just denial. So what is the truth for the reasons about what's going on in Ukraine? Who knows? Who knows? But there are various narratives. That's my whole point in this. There are various narratives, and narratives are rooted in what? Narratives are rooted in emotion. Preference and bias, by the way, is just emotion.